The life you didn't choose, a quietude story for regret. You wake up, not in the life you imagined, not in the penthouse with the skyline view, not in the tiny seaside studio smelling faintly of salt and adventure. Instead, you're here, in your bed, which is uneven in that way beds are when they know the exact angle of your body and refuse to cooperate anymore. You stare at the ceiling. The light scratches across it in stripes. You think, how did I end up here? Not the city, the job, the roommate situation. You mean me, this version of you who once promised herself she would never be ordinary. Yet, here you are, ordinary in the best and worst ways, sipping coffee with a mug that says world's okayest adult, feeling that small, quiet sting of regret. You remember the choices you didn't make, the college you didn't attend, the move you never took, the bold yes you never said, the text you never sent. A list rolls out in your mind like a confetti cannon of missed opportunities. Didn't start that novel. Didn't learn Portuguese. Didn't go skydiving. Didn't become a circus acrobat. You chuckle because some of those things would have been absurd, some of them brilliant, but all irrelevant now. You get out of bed, balancing precariously on the uneven side of your mattress. You notice the floor is scattered with evidence of a life lived: hair clips, a notebook with scribbles from a week ago, and a plant that might still be alive, or maybe it's just pretending for your benefit. You move to the kitchen. The coffee machine gurgles like a sleepy monster. You sip. Burnt toast crumbles in your hands. Butter slides off at odd angles. Jam smears across the countertop. And somehow, this makes you laugh. Because, of course, life didn't hand you the Instagram perfect breakfast. It handed you this. And this is somehow okay. You remember the first regret that really hit you. It wasn't monumental. Just Tuesday afternoon in high school when you decided not to ask someone to the dance. You remember rehearsing it in your head, the bold, perfect speech you'd give, and then silence. And the rest of the night, you imagined 1,000 other versions of yourself, versions braver and more charming, dancing across the gym floor. You smile now because, somehow, even that tiny failure has led you here. You remember the time you wore 2 different shoes to a meeting, not intentionally, not to be ironic, just absent-mindedness. Everyone stared politely, no one said a word, and inside, you wanted to die. But also, cardio. It counts. You glance out the window. People move with purpose. Some of them trip over their own ambitions. Some of them are holding coffee cups like lifelines. And here you are, observing quietly, surviving in your slightly messy, slightly wonderful life. You sit at the kitchen table. Maybe you've been thinking too much about the roads not taken. You decide to take a different approach. Let's talk about the life you did live. You remember that time you helped your neighbor carry groceries, even though you were late for work, and you laughed so hard at the wobbling pineapple that your stomach hurt. You remember the awful haircut you gave yourself in quarantine that looked like a hedgehog. You remember reading a book so bad it was hilarious and texting your best friend about it in all caps. All these tiny things, small absurdities, failures, accidents, they add up. They make you alive. They make you laugh. They remind you that life is not about the perfect choices. It's about showing up in the imperfect ones. You think about the jobs you didn't take, the cities you didn't live in, the people you didn't love, and then you think about the ones you did. That time you finally spoke your mind at work and nobody fired you. That time someone let you hold their baby and it sneezed on your shoulder. That time you accidentally sent a text to the wrong person and it became the funniest story of the week. You take a deep breath. The regrets don't disappear, but the weight shifts. They're no longer chains. They're breadcrumbs of your human experience. They're the strange, absurd, sometimes hilarious pieces that make up the mosaic of you. You go outside, the world is indifferent, the sun is shining, or maybe it's overcast. It doesn't matter. You walk slowly, noticing the small details: a pigeon doing parkour on a trash can, a neighbor watering plants with an oversized hat, the scent of bread from the corner bakery. You think, if this is the life I didn't choose, it's also the life that chose me. You laugh again, softly, because it's ridiculous and wonderful all at once. You survived all the awkward moments, the embarrassing mistakes, the missed opportunities. And somehow, that survival is enough. If you want, someday you'll tell yourself this story, not as a lecture, not as a lament, but as a quiet reminder: you got this far. You laughed, you existed, you stumbled, you rose, and that's everything. Carry this quiet with you, and if this story, all of its absurdities, its regrets, its laughs, speaks to you, stays with you for even a moment, stay a while. Subscribe to Quietude, and let's keep pausing together.